What's going on this morning, family? Black Feniks checking in right now. I'm at the headquarters, actually trying to get my little setup right. Wanted to talk to you about a couple things this morning. Hopefully, I got you in. What's going on? I wanted to talk to you about the Black Welding Goat. I was called that several times by some of my peers and some of people that's younger than me, even some people that's older than me. And at first, I was like, I appreciate it, you know what I mean? But I was like, I don't really look at myself like that. And then I thought about, well, I know welders who can lay better beads than me, and I'm a pretty good welder. I can TIG, MIG, and stick, but I know welders that can weld. That's all they do, and they good at just that. But to me, for them calling me the welding goat, I started to realize that it's more than just my welding abilities and me being able to weld. It's how I transcended from being a worker to a boss, from turning a trade into a business and encouraging others that they can do the same, and actually building my infrastructure with my hands, actually getting my hog on, physically out here building things, making things that can help me be independent. See, I realize in America, especially for African Americans, the system has always been set up that we had to tap in it some type of way as a worker. You know, some people was fortunate enough after slavery to have enough capital to actually start businesses and stayed in business. And some people had, different products that they were providing, and um, due to the civil rights movements, a lot of things changed as far as how we network and look at ourselves when it comes to jobs and being bosses or CEOs or whatever, or actually owning companies. And I think from someone to come from where I came from, a rural area in Arkansas, born in Little Rock, Arkansas, and actually worked on the cotton fields and went to prison at the age of 16 until I was 26 years old. I think that allowed me to engraft the welding a little different, because I got my welding certifications while I was in prison, while I was doing that 10-year bid, and I did 14 months, but I think the course was actually like 9 months. It was like 1440 hours, and when I was in there, I'm gonna tell you something that was ironic to me because I thought about it the other day. I remember that welding instructor one day I was in the booth, and I can't remember what position I was on, but I do know it was stick welding because yeah, it was stick weld. I think we was working on the 7018 at the time, doing vertical, and normally that's gonna be one of the difficult ones to get started when you jump into the welding. Well, needless to say, I kind of caught on to it pretty fast. So the guy said, he walked into the booth, and he said, "Joe, let me ask you something." And I was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" He said, "Be real with me, be honest with me." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" He was like, "You done did this before, ain't you?" And I was like, "Nah, man, I ain't never did this before. I just got the passion to do it. You know what I mean? I know this is what I want to do." My mom planted that seed in me on visitation when she came down and told me about Tulsa Welding School, and she told me about the salaries that welders can make, and she told me how she believed that me coming out of prison, I would gravitate to welding more because of the money I could make with welding, and how I could actually be independent using welding. So I had more of a passion, you know what I mean? So I think he was looking there like, man, I'm just trying to get some paperwork for a job. And at that time, in my mind, I was thinking bigger. I knew I had to have a job because, like anything, you have to get some hands-on experience, and you have to go through your apprenticeship. And my apprenticeship, in prison was, I worked for free. I worked on maintenance, and I welded different things up. I went around and I welded the beds and frames and cut in boxes at Newport, Arkansas prison. I even went to the female unit and did the same thing. I was over there cutting in the steel boxes they have at the McPherson unit. They had the standard steel frame beds, and then they came up with an idea to cut holes in the ones that the Wackenhut prison, the private prison, had established and put in beforehand. So they wanted to put some different boxes that the ADC had designed. So they cut square holes out. I can't remember what the holes was. And you drop the box in, you weld it up, welded around corners, and then it had a place for the lock, and it was a fabricated little box. And honestly, whoever they was getting these boxes from, or what manufacturer company, man, they probably made thousands of dollars, because I know we put in a lot of them, and I met a lot of good people during that time. And I remember, and no lie, I got to tell you this story because I remember a lot of white, black, different races that's in prison all looked at all when they seen me coming in welding those boxes in, cutting the boxes out, then welding them in. Like, I did it all. And it was funny because when that came in, sometime I pull the welder, or sometime you'll see this another guy, which would be this white guy, was a helper. He'll be dragging the welder. That had an officer with me, and I might be dragging the torch, because we had to have both of them. So it might be two of us working. Sometimes it'd be three. That way, if we got some extra stuff we had to bring out, because sometimes we had to bring a cart with us to carry out that cutout piece that we cut out from the beds. And I remember different inmates looking at me like, "Man, you welding? They letting you do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's what I do. I learned it, and and I'm like, "Oh, this is what I'm gonna do when I get out too." I was like, "It's like, man, you do this when you get out?" I'm like, "Nah, bro, I learned this in here." And it was an odd that I actually came to prison and learned that in there. And I remember a friend of mine, give him a shout out, Boot Salad. I remember he was in seeing me, being a black man, young, in prison, welding, actually having a lead role, because I had a lead role then. So that role allowed me to go to the prison, to the female unit, to put in those boxes. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was already locked up. Let me see, this had to be, I was already locked up probably 7, 8 years at that time. So um, once I got that opportunity, to me it was kind of odd, because I'm in there working around some other women, even though these are women that was locked up, but all of them wasn't terrible. But I'm gonna be honest with you, just for just for giggles, real quick. Someone asked me, "Man, was there a lot of pretty women over there?" And I'm gonna be honest with you, probably out of 100%, maybe what I seen personally, maybe 10% of them women was like attractive. The rest of them, you be like, "Oh, nah." Just from what I see, I don't know. That was just what was over there. You know what I mean? But I did meet some cool people. I got checked because I came over there so much. I remember they used to give us food and stuff, and the guards didn't really mind, because we'll work in the kitchen. We'll go in there and do some welding for them. They might cook some extra stuff and set some stuff to the side for us. It was a cool opportunity. But I had a lot of hands-on experience from that. But the story was, I wanted to share that because a lot of people didn't know what to think about me being a black welder. Me actually taking that lead role. And like I say, I learned it in prison. So when I got out, I was able to jump into it and get a job. And just to be honest with you, my first job welding, and I released a video talking about this. My first job welding, I was making $8 an hour. $8 an hour. And when I quit punching a clock, working for someone, the most I ever made was $30 an hour. I was making $30 an hour as a lead foreman, welder, fabricator, installer. Pretty much supervised, welded, whatever. Did pretty much it all. And that was in Phoenix, Arizona. So I started off at $8 in Arkansas, in Newport, Arkansas, exactly. And I made my top pay at $30 an hour in Phoenix, Arizona. and I was working as a foreman, welder, installer. So welding has got me different places, but I never wanted to be stagnated. I never wanted to just be just a welder. You know what I mean? So when the younger generation inbox me and message me and call me to go, you know what I mean? I'm always humble and I tell them I appreciate it because I didn't ask for that, you know what I mean? I just wanted to do my best at it, you know what I mean? But I know that it wasn't just because me welded, because you see different photos and images on Instagram and Facebook where they glorify the weld, the guy welding, TIG and so pretty, you know, you walk in the cup, you know what I mean? Or they got this stick weld and he's burning in the flames or going, you know, all of that is nice, but I never really wanted to just glorify that. I wanted to glorify what you could do with it as far as like the fabrication and building infrastructure and starting businesses. Like I wanted to show that part of it. And I didn't really get it at first as far as my direction. I was just going naturally, organically. But you know, working on different jobs and being in the field and in the shop, you tend to learn things on jobs that we take for granted. You know what I mean? And I literally took for granted at one time the skills I learned as far as fabrication. Like I just pushed it to the side. I remember I had a rough spot in my life at one time and I quit welding and I was working with this other business and it didn't have nothing to do with welding. And things was kind of rough with it, man. I was trying to, you know, I got in a bad partnership with some people and it just, you know, it was, I had to put more in than, you know, what was called for. You know what I mean? We learn from things like that. We make those type of decisions, being bosses and starting businesses and being independent. So I had to get a job at that time, and I think didn't have one in a while. So it was like at least a year, and I was like, man, I didn't really. I stopped welding at that time. I almost gave up with it completely because in Arkansas, I'm gonna be honest with you, I couldn't get no money out of it. You know what I mean? The most at that time when I quit, I think when I quit welding in Arkansas, I'm gonna tell you how much I made. Arkansas allowed me to make $20 an hour. That's the most I ever made in Arkansas. Now, I had some people that was telling me if I'd be there for another 2, 3, 5 years, and I was already into it for a while, oh, we'll give you a truck, you know, put a whole lot of more responsibilities over your head. Um, Man, we can get you 22, but we need you to be here, and we can get you this, but we want you to do that. You know, it was a lot of stuff. So me making $20 an hour in Arkansas, coming out of prison after doing that decade, you know, to most people they would say, man, he made it, man, you made it. Like I got a chance to buy the house. I bought a house in Newport. I was owning my cars. You know, I owned some stuff. I did some things. So coming out of from that era, you know, I can't say that I did accomplish something. But, you know, to me, it wasn't satisfying though. You know what I mean? Because a lot of things I was chasing vanity. You know, when you haven't had certain things and you grew up in poverty in the ghetto and you didn't have proper guides on how to use your money, how to invest your finances, how to grow a business, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. You know, a lot of mistakes. And like you say, you know, like I say, I was coming out of prison, and a lot of things I learned helped me. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of things really, really helped me, but a lot of things I had to learn because I was new to a whole new space. So I had to learn the business side. So that's why, you know, I feel like once I did, I started showing my work ethics. And I think that's why most people or the younger generation call me the black welding goat because I'm leading by example. Like I talk and I give information to encourage or whatnot, but my main thing is I wanted to show. So it's one thing for me to say something, and the next thing for me to really show it. And it wasn't about the bragging about the money because you know what this or that costs because it costs money. It takes money to make money, you know. But to actually turn a trade into a business, like when that just hit me, like I knew I had something that could really help someone when that hit me. Like because once I discovered the fact that I know as long as I work, then I'm gonna get back to this too. And this is why specifically I said black, which, you know, I'm relating to myself being an African American, being a black native. Um, I knew that as long as I live in this country, if I work for someone, just work for someone, I'd never be free. It was just like the chains I felt in prison, just like the shackles, because it was always someone over me trying to control me, wanting to make me dictate what I do, wanting me to follow by their rules and guidelines, even though they wasn't following by their rules and guidelines. So I knew that in order for me to be free, I had to learn how to start a business. And I knew that that was something I had to pay for. So I had to get educated on that. I had to get some courses. I had to take some time and read some material. I had to do some searching. You know what I mean? I had to make some mistakes. You know, some lessons I would call them, because mistakes are lessons if you utilize them. You know, and learn from them. So I knew I had to do something, man. So once I got that, it just put a fire under me. Even now, like I'm always thinking, like that's my train of thought. Um, Products over talent. That's why I say that a lot, because I realize that no matter how talented I am, if I just use my talent, I'm gonna be held by a string, and they'll give me what I'm, worth, as long as I'm making them. But once I mess up, or once my body can't do, or once I'm not able to do that, that is cut off. And I knew that in order for me to stay financially stable and me to build some wealth for my family, my kids, I had to have a product. Like I knew that, in America, they'll work you until you down, and then they'll have you beg for your Social Security if you can get Social Security. You know what I mean? So the way I look at it, man, you're gonna have to build your own wealth. And I think by me taking that path on turning a trade into a business and creating these hashtags like welding and hip hop and imagine your container and products over talent, I think that encourage others to see like a different view. Like, and you always gonna have haters. You always gonna have somebody that don't understand, somebody that want to say this or that. But the way I was taught, if I have to explain it to you and I'm just throwing it out there, then it wasn't meant for you. Maybe you got to come back once you're ready and you're seasoned enough, you'll get the message. But I had a cousin who used to always tell me, don't lower yourself to get on somebody else's level. If you're on this level, that's what level you're on. And that's not saying that you're boastful, prideful, anything, but that's your level. So you don't scoop down. You'll reach your hand out to lift up. But if a person don't understand, you can't waste time trying to explain something to somebody that might not never get it. Certain things you have to be literally awake to understand. Like when I make certain statements, or I say certain comments, if your mind isn't awake, you won't understand it. And I get it. There's no reason to push or pressure someone to be something if they're not ready mentally to do it. So I appreciate those who have called me the GOAT, those who have called me the GOAT of Welding, the Black GOAT of Welding, uh, for my independence and me building products, for me making the welding skids, the HogOn Welding Skids, been making the staircases, the small staircases, and the big one that I'm working on now for the HogOn Cafe, the shooting targets, the curb signs, just different things that I have came up with. And actually, my mind has always been expanding for more and more products. So as I see different needs, I try to address them with a product, and I try to make it affordable for everybody, because I heard a saying said it's not about getting a dollar and seeing how much I can make off of that $1, but it's also about seeing how much I can give off of using that $1, and that will lead to me being successful. You know what I mean? So you have to have a good product. You have to stand behind your product when you're welding, when you're fabricating, when you're installing, whatever you're doing. You have to have a good product, and you want to stand behind your product. So I think me coming at an independent standpoint and actually leading by example has allowed someone to look at me in the eyes of calling me the Black GOAT of Welding, because honestly, I wouldn't have called myself that. Um, I'm a humble person, you know what I mean? I'm prideful. I believe I stand on something, but I'm not the one to just boast and brag. You know what I mean? I'm confident. Don't get me wrong. I'm confident, but I'm not the one to boast and brag unless I'm playing or joking around with somebody. You know what I mean? But I'm not the one to just boast and brag. You know what I mean? Because I know that I know what it gets you. You know what I mean? I know what it can attract, but my goal is to use my work ethics is to attract people who actually want to know how to start from zero and get to 100. You know, how to take their culture and embrace it and without changing. You know what I mean? Like you can get better. You know, but I'm saying as far as changing who you are as a person. You know, I didn't want to change my beard. You know, this is my culture. I didn't want to take out my gold teeth. That's my culture. You know what I mean? How I dress as far as I don't walk around sagging them, but I like to wear mine. You know, that's why I invest in more in my own things, not just to um, advertise. Which yes, I want to advertise and promote my company and my brand, but I wear it because um, I feel like if I represent me and I want someone else to, how can I get someone else to represent me if I don't represent me? You know, I've seen people who say they have brand of clothing or got something going, but they don't represent it when you see them. I'm like, why you don't represent it? You know what I mean? That should be all over you. You know what I mean? You have to brand yourself like this. So I would rather invest in um, my independence and in the future independence of others and my kids having a better future, So I think that, me being the black welding gold or someone calling me that, man, it's all on the hustle, how I hustle. Um, I'm always thinking outside the box, and I think that's what helps you be a better entrepreneur because there's more than one way, There's literature that teaches about not having all your eggs in one basket and spreading your bread on the waters. Um, don't just be caught up in one thing, but we can use welding as a job to create welding as a business, to create welding products that we can actually sell while we sleep. We can sell guides and information and material and classes or whatever. So the goal is to create passive income. I don't know how we tend to feel or believe sometimes like it's wrong to have financial wealth. It's wrong to not be in need, not to have to ask somebody for something. You know what I mean? Like some people get caught up in the numbers, or they get caught up in saying, well, they don't need all that, but they got all that. I don't hate what nobody got, but I know this. I know what it takes for me, and I know that I don't need $1 million. You know what I mean? I can maintain and live a good life without having $1 million. You know what I mean? Now making it to $1 million, yeah, that's fine. You know what I mean? But that's not to me personally what being rich is about. Now I feel I'm gonna make it there. I'm gonna have it one day, but that's not like, oh, I just got to have this. No, I know that to me it's about enjoying life, and I want to lead by example that way. So it's like me being the black welding gold is not just about welding, but it's about enhancing my people to see a different view of things, to imagine something better. Even though you come from this, you can use something to create different doors. Um, Literally, I feel for our people, we had to do like one of those old cartoons where the person would have a pen or a pencil and they'll draw a door and they'll put the knob on it and they'll just open up and go to a different side. That's what we have to do sometimes, man. We have to literally create our own way. You know what I mean? So I understand that building our independence, it gets frustrated and we don't know. You know what I mean? Like it ain't like we got tons of people who are um, throwing us literature and helping us starting out as a youngster on how to deal with finances, how to make money, how to hustle, how to network and sell papers. I remember when I was young, we had a thing where people used to sell papers on the corner. And we used to sell them for, I forget how much at the time, 35 cents, 50 cents. I forgot what they got up to. But man, we had a little stand and we'll run down there, pick up some papers, hit the corner, sell some papers, run back down there, buy another bundle, over down here, man. Like we was hustling. Like everybody was trying to, get their clothes. We trying to do this, and like that made me into like who I am today, doing things like that, like going into the cotton fields. And yes, I'm from the part of the South where I can literally say I'm a cotton picker. You can call me a cotton picker. You can call me that because I did it. You know what I mean? I wasn't even 13. I was like, it's before I even turned. Cause by that time I was in the streets. So it's like 10, 11, 12. I was going into the cotton fields with my mom. Um, Chopping cotton during the summer times to make school money. You know what I mean? I did it. I was proud to do it. I didn't think nothing of it. You know what I mean? Even though that was wrong. You know what I mean? They had to ban it, but what you don't tell nobody, they get away with a lot of stuff in the South. And we jumped on the back of the truck and went out there in the fields. And I remember at first I went out there, my first chop, I chopped the cotton thing down. And my mom was like, hey, what are you doing? The folks was yelling at me. I'm like, what? You told me to chop the cotton. They was like, nah, the grass around the cotton. It was funny because I didn't know. You need to explain things like that. If you just take the kids somewhere and just tell them somewhere, they ain't gonna know no better. You got to explain it to them. So I literally chopped the cotton stalk down. You know what I mean? So I learned quick what I had to do. After doing that one. You know what I mean? So it was just funny how the work ethics got involved in it. On me being from the South. You know what I mean? And using welding like I'm doing and building my own cafe right now, like building the HogOn Cafe and building the HogOn Welding School, and wanting to have products and services. Like it all takes time, man. I can't. Some people think they're just gonna get to certain things overnight, and I'm gonna be here to tell you honestly, face to face, that it's not gonna happen overnight. I have those who have been following me for a few years now, and they have seen stages. So it's not going to happen overnight, but it's most definitely going to happen if you stay focused and if you humble yourself and learn from your failures, and be open to constructive criticism. You know, um, especially from those that love you. Me personally, I don't really. I watch certain behaviors and listen to certain things from haters from the outside, because you can gain information. That old commercial to say you can learn a lot from a dummy. You really can. You know what I'm saying? So you got to just be open minded and just pay attention to people and critique what you do. I think that it's all about finding your own lane. And to me, my own lane isn't, and welding isn't just one specific style. It's fabrication, it's modifications, it's repairs, it's services. It's teaching. My thing is well rounded. I don't want to be in a box and nothing. I have enough audacity to say I can do anything. And I believe that. And I believe that to one person it might be a little easier, and to me it might be hard. But if I work at it, I can get it just like them or even better. I heard Gary Vee say something the other day that really caught my attention. You know what I mean? Because I listen to people, and he said that the goal is to find what makes us comfortable, what makes us not comfortable but happy, like inside, like what really makes you happy. You know what I'm saying? And focus on that, not on the other things that you want to be seen, noticed, or recognized from others. And that's not saying that it's bad, but if you really want to be happy, if your goal is to really give a message, then just give the message. He was saying, some people get caught up and say, well, I got to get it right. I got to do this. I got to work check. He said, man, just give it. I think we overthink things. And just like my channel, I'm building it. It started from small followers, small subscribers, and now I'm a little over 3,000. And I salute and thank and appreciate everybody for subscribing and liking and sharing the channel. I appreciate it. Just wanted to say that publicly to you. I really do appreciate it. And I had some people who, when I said I wanted to get to 1,000 subscribers when I only had 100 and something. I kind of just spoke that faith out there, and I was like, hey, I want to get to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate anybody that share, and I just kept doing what I was doing. I didn't overwhelm it or anything, but I had a few, people who said things like, you kind of thinking a little too big. You think you need to slow down a little bit. But I got there and I had passed that, and you can't listen to what other people say. You know what I mean? Some things you can, and other things you got to use as motivation. So I just use that as motivation. Literally, I'm like, I'm not gonna let this person tell me what I can't do because I know what I can do, and I'm about to do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna do this literally, and I knew that if if I stay at it, that, and I focus on me, I know it'll happen, and I focus on the message that I wanted to give. I wanted to stay organic with it. And it's crazy how things will grow like that. Like it's just like a seed. If you plant it and you go out there and you water it 2 days or a week, and you don't see nothing, and you just stop watering it, and it don't rain nowhere, don't expect it to grow. I mean, don't expect the growth to be what you want, and then you get discouraged. And I think that's what we do. We'll plant a seed and we'll go out there and check it. Ain't nothing out there yet. Go out there and check it. Ain't nothing out there yet. Go out there and check it. Well, maybe it was a dud and just go on with life and just stop messing with it. Don't put nothing on it. So I think that we have to have that patience, and that's what I want to show in my work ethics. That's why I'm going live now talking about it, because by no means am I boasting and saying that I'm the best welder, because I know a lot of guys that are great at welding beads, from all races. You know what I mean? Like literally, I know some great TIG welders, some great stick welders, some great MIG welders. Like, you know, I look more into it being as a whole. You know what I mean? I didn't just want to just be in a box with it. Just say, oh, I'm good at this. I wanted to be good at a lot of things, but I wanted to master one thing. That was the welding technology and the ideology of welding, and how I can use it to cross over to different fields. So I think that in order for you to be great at what you do, the GOAT, so to speak, as the younger generations, they like to say that, and I appreciate that, man. And it's literally like it's flattering, because I never considered myself the GOAT in nothing. You know what I mean? I'm just a hustler. You know what I mean? And I think that's another part of the welding that makes me independent. That makes me stand out with the young crowd, because I'm a hustler. Like I'm gonna figure out a way, and I think that being who you are, as far as your skills, you have to incorporate everything about you. Like you don't have to put all of that in the pot. Like it's like people that like gumbo. You don't like it just because it's just one thing in there. It's a combination of things that will just just set your mouth on fire. It's just so good once all the combination of things are together just right. You know what I mean? So I think that's what makes me the black welding GOAT, because of the combination of things I have to offer, the combination of things that I'm given as an individual. I literally want to live to be remembered, and I know that it's not necessarily about me making a perfect video, or having a Picasso painting, but I am going to paint something. I'm going to have a story, an odyssey that I believe that will help others. And I get the concept now of what Tupac said when he was like, you know what, I may not change the world, but I'm going to spark the brain of the person who will. And it's all about giving a person that new idea, because I remember when I got a new idea, like it set me on fire on a different path, like, and I seen something, and other people didn't have to see it, because I think that's about being independent and being the boss. Other people don't have to see your vision for you to be like, I got something. You gonna have to feel it. You know what I mean? You gonna have to put something behind it. You gonna have to put some work ethics. You gonna have to put your time and you gonna have to put your all into it. literally. Like you're all like you're gonna have to stand alone. You know, I like to share a story with you out of Job because I remember me reading the Old Testament when I was incarcerated, and certain stories just stood out to me a lot, and I really like dissected them. And I remember Job had a situation where he lost everything. He lost his kids. Um, he lost his possessions. Um, his wife came out and told him, well, maybe you should curse God and die. He had boils on him. And in the midst of all of that, he said, foolish woman, how am I going to thank God and enjoy all the good things and not be thankful and do the same through all the bad things? We're going to have to endure some things in life, you know. Regardless of how we look at it, we're going to have to go through something. It is not going to, everything is not going to be easy. You know, everybody isn't going to like you. We got to have tough skin, you know. And I can say as a black man, honestly, that we're going to have to work on some of our emotional issues. We have emotional traumas just through growing up in childhood and lack of fathers and leaders in our lives, and, you know, and being raised by, you know, by the women who, a lot of women who are very emotional, and it spawned a lot of emotional men who was born addicted to drugs, from crack to cocaine to, you know, we just had a lot of things going on in our black community. And I think that we will have to face some of that, deal with some of that, and realize that it's okay to be naked and not ashamed with how we feel and what we got going on in our minds. If we need to talk to somebody to address some issues, because I think our mental health is very important to our physical wealth. I just want to say that again. Your mental health is very important to your physical wealth. Like, we have to line everything up. You know, we got to have a balance, you know. I realize in life, in order for us to get to where we're going to get to, we won't have to have a balance. Like, I have knew people who have been extremists. Uh, they extremists when it comes to revolution and change. You know, it's like they far out this way or they far out that way. You know what I mean? But we have to have a balance in life, and it's something that you have to work on over time. Like, it's not something that you just gonna wake up and have neither. You know, but I can be honest to say that practice make perfect. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. I like saying it like that because I had a chaplain, a female chaplain, when I was in Vernon unit, not Vernon unit, I'm sorry, I was in Wrightsville, Arkansas, prison unit. I was taking um, pre-release. I was in there for pre-release because, you know, after you do so much time, you have to take certain programs to kind of what they call gearing you back ready for society, showing you applications, getting your mind ready, making sure you're right mentally, showing you how to present a job, different things you need to do. And they have someone come from the free world that actually show you certain things to do to help prepare you for society, you know. So I had to take that course before I got home. I think it was a 90-day course or a 60-day course, 90 or a 60-day course. But I took that course pre-release, and I learned so much in that program. But it showed me how the system wasn't designed to correct us. You know, like, it was designed to put us in a revolving door. You know, it'll paint a picture like, yeah, we let a couple out, but the thing is to keep a lot of us in it. And I feel if it wasn't for the time I did, you know, that 10 years in there, even though, you know, I shouldn't have did a decade in prison as a juvenile, you know, I was misled. I should have did that much time for those charges. You know, I should have went to the juvenile home. You know, I probably maybe should have did 3 to 5 years, but never that much. And so when that happened, you know what I mean, it just opened my eyes to know that, hey, the system don't care, you know. And even later, like now, literally later, they kind of pretty much apologize. Well, you know, um, we shouldn't have did this or that, you know. But one thing they did when that law kicked in during the Bill Clinton era, when he became president, they signed that law over that did that mass incarceration, and I was a part of that situation. They gave, in Arkansas anyway, they gave pretty much free education. They gave free education to anyone, but you know everything got a criteria. You had to get your GED, and so I had to learn how to weld. I mean, I had to learn how to get my GED as first, as far as reading and the math part. Like I had to learn all of those things first before I actually got there. So I had to go through a process, literally. I sat there at the table and I had to teach myself that. So once I got that, I was able to get that free education, and that's what I got my GED. You know, and I got my combination of welding trade, and I went to college for small business management. Yes, I know it is a little bit. I know it is a little bit. I probably should talk just a little bit louder because I do have the camera back a little bit, so that way I was able to get a good portrait of myself while I was talking to you. Um, but I just wanted to talk to you a little bit just about the fact that I was called the Black Goat of Welding, and just wanted to salute everybody again, all my people, all my supporters, followers, fans, subscribers for the love, for the support, for the for the shares, for the comments, for the donations, for all the above. Okay, no problem, no problem. Salute, salute, salute. So I just wanted to make sure that um, I was able to give you something that was organic. Like I didn't want to um, paint no pretty picture and just say something. You know, I have seen many of these scammers who have been out and they'll say this or that, and they really wasn't about that life. Well, when I tell you about these container conversions with HogOn Welding, like I'm about that life. Like I know how to build and how to fabricate the containers. I know how to turn these into small businesses. And to me, that's the lane that I'm creating that's going to help me, and it's going to illuminate, I would say, the light on the black welding goat, because I'm going to do container conversions to help turn small um, businesses or entrepreneurs into small businesses, helping them have their own business from a 10, a 20, and a 40-foot shipping container. Like I'm going to help people start their independence and literally build it from my hands, and have a crew, students that I'm teaching and showing them how to build their independence, and they can pass on and do their thing. Like to me, that is what's going to really make me the black welding goat, because I'm going to teach other people how to be successful as far as starting businesses and actually own their business. Because I think in America we're gonna have to own our real estate, and if we can't afford at the moment to just own the land, you can most definitely own the commerce or own the building that you're making the money off on the land. And then once you get the money up, you can buy that land or buy a piece of land to put your business on, or your resort on, or your home on, or whatever it is that you do. Or you make it completely mobile, because they got a plenty. I'm telling you, when you have a 10-footer, 20-foot shipping container, they have different events throughout the country, literally. If you're an event chaser, even locally in certain cities, you can get it brung out there. It's not hard to haul it, to drop it off, and you can have your stuff set up on different events and be able to broadcast and promote and brand what you do. And to me, the imagine your container, that's the concept of it. Like I want you to see what you can do with a shipping container, like how you can really make money with this container. And start now, just to give people an idea, you're gonna have to at least have a budget of $4,000. So from to 10 on the high end starting out is nothing. Just think we spend money on cars and this and that that we mess up and that we have to let go back, that we can't get that money back. But as you build this business and you get your container, you got it. And I'm gonna tell you the cool thing about it. You don't have to overwhelm yourself. You can always add to it. You know what I mean? You can always fabricate it, change it up, add to it, redo it. You know what I mean? And you own it. So that's one thing that I love about it, and that's one thing I think that is really going to help me help others, is because I want to build barbershops, salons, um, CPA offices for people, car lots when a person may own the land on a little lot, and they say, hey man, I want a nice shipping container, man, for my spot. I want to do that office for them. Whatever you have to help you turn into a business, to help you be independent, that's what I want to do. And that's why the container and the HogOn Welding School is important to me, and why I stress it and have them hashtags, because I know that once I start this and once I do it physically myself and I help someone, you never know who's going to be the one that's going to just. But you know one thing that they gonna say, HogOn. They gonna know where it started from. You know what I mean? And then one thing that I realized in life, we get caught up at the numbers. But there's a parable that says 10 got healed and only one returned. So 10, 9 people didn't even come back to say nothing. Only one person returned. That's what it is sometimes. So don't get caught up in the numbers when you're starting out doing what you're doing, blogging, being independent. You're like, oh man, I really want to help. But then you get caught up in the numbers and you fade off. Don't get caught up in the numbers, because people watch without hitting the button, without saying this, because they want to see, are you authentic? Are you real? I mean, a lot of my fans and followers that have inboxed me and shared their stories with me and talked to me and told me they had to watch me. Some of them, hey man, I had to make sure you was real, or hey, you stayed on the mark, man. You never fell off. You didn't get beside yourself. You didn't get cocky. You didn't use it to do something stupid. And me personally, I'm a person. I'm an individual. I like to show on my platform. I like to laugh. Sometimes you might catch me. I might show a little scene or something on me, dance, or make a little exotic look, something that I got going on, just something funny. You know what I mean? But to me, I think all of that is just part of my character. And at first, starting out doing these videos, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just started blogging. I just heard and received a message that hit me and penetrated my spirit, that I should blog and share my story. And I was told that as I go, I get better over time and I find my direction. But I had so much inside of me that I was leaving locked in, and just ideas and ideologies, concepts that I was just allowing to lay dormant. So I was told that, I should just let it out, just express it however I want to express it. And then as I go, I figure out I can fine tune it. I get it. And I think that's what helped me stood out as the Black Welding Gold, is because I did just that. I just started releasing things, and now I have people who actually get what I'm doing, and they actually gaining something from me. And when I say the Black Welding Goat, it doesn't mean I'm just for black welders by no means, but I am a black welder. You know what I mean? And my black people is who I most definitely want to encourage. But I'm here to help anybody. You know, Christ said one thing that I tend to remember all the time, and I tell people that he said that I came here for my people, but once they rejected me, I had to give it to the dogs. I had to give it to somebody else. Somebody's going to eat this meal. It's not going to go. It's not going to go. This word is not going to return to me void, so to speak. You know what I mean? So if you really got something, just give it anyway, and don't get caught up with the numbers. But I do want to salute again everyone who have called me the Black Welding Goat, everyone who have called me the Master P of Arkansas. I salute them, man. I mean, those are big things. That's like a big accomplishment for somebody who can say something like that to me, coming from where I'm from. And those are most definitely, Master P is one of my mentors who I look up to, and I watch different moves because he's doing a lot of constructive boss things for his family and for the community. You know what I mean? And he ain't never been selfish, you know what I mean? But people gonna always have something to say, regardless of how many bosses you make. You see what I'm saying? So my goal is to just keep doing what I'm doing, not to get prideful because as far as, thinking I'm better than somebody, but to remain, to have pride in what I do and to just be humble and just keep doing what I'm doing, you know what I mean? Because I'm knowing that my purpose and my goal and my mission is to be a light and to just give my personal experiences organically and share and help encourage how I can, but to be a light by my examples, by what I did, by what I have the audacity to do. You know, some people, will complain or belittle you or try to discourage you from doing something when they ain't doing nothing at all, so don't allow that to discourage you, because like I say again before I end this video, I didn't ask to be called the Black Welding Goat, but I was called the Black Welding Goat. I was called the Master P of Arkansas, not because I wrote an article or I just got to saying this or this is what I am. I wrote a song about it. Nah, I hustle. I show work ethics. I'm making my actions speak louder than my words. Like I'm up, I'm giving, I'm on it, I'm making, I'm moving, I'm making progress. And someone had the audacity to say, hey, I see what you're doing and I like what you're doing, man. And this is who you are to me. And I appreciate it, man. Like that's love. You know what I mean? I appreciate that because, if you see something in someone, just for the record, in anyone you might know or don't know, and you feel like it's something on your heart that's good, give it to them, share it with them, and realize if a person says something negative, if a person take a time out to watch something or to read something, a piece of content that you release, and they have the audacity to say something negative after they read or watch whatever it is, then it shows you they're in a bad place, especially if they try to bring you to that place that they're at. You can tell actions speak louder than words. People don't realize that character reveals who they are, and they think that they words and what they tell you do. You can see right through that. That's just like a curtain on the window. The curtain is there to help block, but you can still see through that curtain. Depends on what kind of curtain it is. You know what I mean? So everybody is different, man. So don't get caught up with listening to what they say. Just live your life, be who you are, and you will become the GOAT. Like you will be the GOAT at your lane and what you do. You know what I mean? So I'm humble because I remember there's a scripture that says, if you would humble yourself, you will be exalted amongst others. And for someone to call you the GOAT, for someone to pat you on the back, and there's going to be times where you're not going to get no pats on the back, but to just embrace the fact that that's where you have made it through your hustle, through your struggle. Like, to me, that's powerful because you didn't lift yourself up. You didn't boast. You didn't brag. Someone else did it for you. And you was humble enough to say, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to continue to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to learn. I'm going to get better over time because, we make mistakes. And the goal is to learn from others and to become what we want. Not just to imagine it and just to think about it, but we can actually literally become it by our work ethics, by investing time in programs and educating ourselves. You know what I mean? Like there's so much we can do, man. And my goal is to just lead by example on my platform, in my life, period. There's many things that I know that I'm gonna get a chance to do. But what I'm doing right now, I got to be content at that stage while I'm working on another one. So I think that sometimes, we don't slow down enough to enjoy certain stages of life. This is a stage for you, whatever you're going through. It's something you got to learn from. It's something you got to get out of it. Let's enjoy the stage and move on. So I think that it's important and it's valuable that we look at it like that, but we utilize the time, the isolation, the times we have to stand alone and build our independence. So just wanted to say that to you before I let you go. I appreciate all those who have called me the Black Welding Goat. And like I say, this video was nothing about boasting or bragging on anything. I just wanted to just share some input or some ideas on why I feel that the community and people have called me the Black Welding Goat, and that I embrace it as an African American, as a black man, as a black king. That I know that I have to lead by example, and you know, by no means am I saying I'm somebody's mentor, which I might be somebody's mentor, but I'm not. Like, it's not my goal to say, "Oh, I'm perfect," because I'm not perfect, man. But I can show you how to hustle. I can show you how to get it, and I can be honest with you. When I fail, I can reveal my flaws with you, and I can say, I can be honest enough to say, "Hey, you know what? We messed up on that one. Hey, let's sit down. I don't know the answer to that. Let's sit down and find out, though. Let's call somebody. Let's see where we can get this answer from. Let's see how we can solve this problem." You know, I'm all for that. So before I let y'all go, I just wanted to say thank you for the support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Please keep subscribing to the channel. Please tell others about it. Share it. Share it. If you have favorite videos that you like, I have over 3,000 videos on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, and at least 1,000 videos of good in-depth welding knowledge, practices, ideas, motivational videos that can really help you. Like I said, all of my content is miscellaneous, depends on what I was going through at the time, working on my RV, doing installs, welding, everything was different, fabricating, working on jobs, sharing my ideas, you know. My goal was to live to be remembered and just share my odyssey, you know, because I didn't want to just live here without affecting someone else. You know, I wanted to really help someone else, and by me helping you, it's helping me literally. Like, you don't know how you encourage me at times when I just want to throw up the flag. You know what I mean? So sometimes I get inboxes and emails that really help me out. So I appreciate it, and I just wanted to take the time and say that I'm humbled for someone to call me the GOAT. I'm humbled that you consider me being this person that's opening up a new door. Like I say, my goal is to lead by example. So there's a lot is going to come in the near future with HogOn Welding. My goal is to do some awesome things, and I want to open up a door with this HogOn Cafe. So stay tuned for the HogOn Cafe stages. My goal is to really open up a door for my first storefront here in Oklahoma City. And like I say, it's going to be the beginning of the HogOn Welding School. So there are stages. So if you have the time, enjoy the journey with me. Share. And like I say, tell someone else about the channel. There's a lot of there's a lot of videos on there. I don't know what may help you, what you may need. The titles are various, but you can just go through the videos and just check them out. I got all type of different things. So you never know what can help someone, but I do appreciate those who let me know that I have planted some seeds that have motivated and helped and encouraged some other people. So that alone is a blessing. I literally feel that if I don't release another video, if this is my last video, I know that I got enough content out there as of now that I know that would allow me to live to be remembered, and that would allow me to really help someone else, and someone else can keep the movement going and keep getting a hog on, and knowing that we are overcoming, that we are hustling and overcoming grounded obstacles naturally. You know, that we are honoring our generation, ornamental nature. You know what I mean? So we getting our hog on. So if this was my last video, I'm knowing that the content that is out there is going to help somebody get their hog on. And I feel like that my purpose is not done yet, but it's going to continue to be in process. It's going to continue to keep going because I decided to plant seeds when I was told it wasn't going to work. When I was told I wasn't going to get nothing out of that seed, I planted it and I watered it anyway. So keep doing what you're doing. Believe in yourself. Live to be remembered. Stay focused on your product, on your service. Have product over talent. use welding if that's what you want to use. Turn a trade into a business. A trade into a business, very important. Learn the game, get better. Each one teach one. Iron sharpens iron. Hold on. Y'all be blessed.